When it comes to planning for my retirement, one could say that I did everything wrong. Well, not everything. I mean, I did put my money in a bank instead of investing in taxidermy mice, so there's that. But I definitely made 3 big mistakes. First off, I started late. Between finishing my university studies at age 26, moving back and forth between the United States and France into my early 30s, and struggling to find reliable employment until I started my own company at 38, I didn't really start consistently saving for retirement until I was 40. Second, I didn't save enough. In the beginning, I thought I was doing great just putting $100 away every month. But as time went on and I could afford more, I kept my deposits at about 3% of my income instead of aiming for the recommended 10 or even 20%. And thirdly, I trusted my banker. I'm at the BNP, which is a big established French bank, the ones that sponsor the French Open. And so when I decided to start saving, I went in, talked to my banker, thought that was the responsible thing to do, and he proposed an investment product specifically for retirement. Probably even had retirement in the name. So that made me think that was probably the logical choice to take. Unfortunately, it was a low yield, high fee piece of garbage that earned me 0 interest and 0 money from 2010 to 2020. That means that all I had at the end was exactly what I'd put in. I gained no interest. I actually would have been better off with just a normal savings account with like a 2% interest. I would have actually earned a little bit of interest and earned some money, where their investment product earned me nothing. By comparison, the S&P 500 went up about 319% in the same time period, from 2010 to 2020, or about 12% a year, which is better. So because of these 3 mistakes, by the time I was 50, with 10 years of savings behind me, I only had about $10,000 in the bank. And then came COVID. Between lower earnings at my company, higher costs due to the crazy inflation that we've been seeing, and higher personal expenses due to inflation and the fact that I was finishing building my house, 2022 drained about 10 years of retirement savings in 12 short months. So, how upset am I that I completely screwed myself over making these 3 retirement mistakes?
You know, looks like you screwed the pooch there, Tinkerbell.
Honestly, not that much. I may not have done it perfectly, but the savings I did have allowed me to get through one hell of a shit year basically unscathed and without accumulating any more debt. And that's what savings are for. The peace of mind that you can get through tough times and still take your kids out for soft serve at the end of the day. And my 3 big mistakes? Sure, I could have saved earlier or saved more, but 50% of people don't or can't save for retirement at all. As with so many things, doing something, even imperfectly, is so much better than doing nothing at all. And that garbage investment fund from my bank? Well, I didn't make any money from interest, but I also didn't lose any money. So as bad investments go, that could have been worse.
It could have been so much worse. So much worse.
So, what did I do next? How did I make it all better and get it all back? Well, I haven't. Not yet anyway. Once I got back to some kind of financial stability, I just did the only thing that I could do. I started over. Using the lessons I learned from tougher times, I'm saving more and saving smarter. I did my own research and found a low-fee S&P 500 index fund instead of counting on my banker to find the right product for me. I'm also diversifying and putting a little bit into riskier investments like Bitcoin and exploring side hustles like this YouTube channel. Now, this isn't financial advice, because if it were, it would likely be very bad advice. Basically, all I'm saying is to keep learning, and doing something carefully is usually going to trump doing nothing at all. I'm sure I'll make more mistakes as I keep learning. But since I don't believe in getting rich quick, this is my scheme to get less broke slowly.
That sounds like a pretty good plan.
Duh.
Now, I didn't make this video for sympathy or just to complain. It's actually kind of the opposite. I made this video to say that maybe it's not actually that bad. That we can take things that framed a certain way seem catastrophic, and there are ways to move on and move through it and make the best of it. These are setbacks, and life is full of them. So one way or another, we've got to learn to get back up and get back to it. And for anybody who's watching this, who may be making the same mistakes I did, I wanted to share my experience to kind of illustrate why it's so important to start early, to save as much as you can, and to educate yourself about investments. And the big reason that I think is pretty clear from my experience is that most people don't realize that their retirement savings is probably the only significant savings that they're going to have. And so, by default, it's also your rainy day fund. That's why if you're not saving as much as you possibly can, it may only be a rainy day fund and not leave much left over for retirement. So the only regret that I have is that if I had saved earlier or saved more or educated myself about the right investment product, then one bad year wouldn't have wiped me out, and I would likely still have some money left over to invest in this taxidermy mouse on the toilet. If you've got any other thoughts or advice on planning for retirement, I'd love to hear about it down in the comments section. If you've enjoyed this video, then you can go ahead and watch another one up here or subscribe to my channel over here. Now, you should probably go so that I can itemize my socks.